Are you looking for the best plasma cutters? In this video we will look at some of the 5 best plasma cutters on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description. So make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Starting at number 1, Lotos LTP 5000D. The Lotos LTP 5000D won our editor's choice as the best overall plasma cutter under $500. The 1/2 inch cutting ability is significant given how compact and lightweight the plasma cutter is. Importantly, Lotos 1/2 inch rating is actually the thickness it can cut cleanly. This cutter is rated to 7 metals up to 3/4 inches thick. You'll need to have a 220 volt outlet in order to maximize your cutting depth. But the unit includes a power cable, so this is relatively easy. There's also very little assembly required since the cutter comes with everything you need to connect to your air compressor's regulator. One of the unique aspects of this plasma cutter is that it uses a non-touch pilot RC tip. Since you don't have to touch the tip to the metal, your electrode and nozzle last far longer than with other cutters. However, this can be a slight downside as well, as users found that the cut is wide compared to other plasma cutters. Longevity is an issue with this cutter, as with most plasma cutters under $500. Some users found that the machine worked reliably for years, while others had units that burned out after a handful of uses. Lotos offers a 1-year warranty, but won't repair defective units after their warranty period. Number 2, Forni Easy Weld 25120p Plasma Cutter. The Easy Weld from Forni is one of the best plasma cutters for home use. Forni thought of just about everything for this plasma cutter in terms of ease of use. It comes with a power source so you can easily wire it into any 120 volt home outlet, as well as a regulator so you can plug it into your air compressor and go. Even better, it includes an 8-foot long ground clamp, so grounding your plasma cutter is simple. The included cutting torch is designed to be dragged directly across the metal surface. That uses up more consumables per cut, but it also allows you to use the sheet you're actively cutting for balance and precision. Cuts are narrow and it's easy to get them straight. The biggest downside to the Forni plasma cutter is that the duty cycle is extremely low, just 35%. That means that after cutting for 3.5 minutes, you need to let the cut rest for another 6.5 minutes before starting the next cut. There's a temperature indicator on the unit to warn you when it's close to overheating. Number 3, Hero Cut Plasma Cutter. The Hero Cut is one of the best small plasma cutters we've come across. It's extremely inexpensive, making it a good choice for metal workers on a budget and first-time plasma cutter users alike. Better yet, it's extremely portable. This is by far the most lightweight plasma cutter we reviewed. The Hero Cut also uses inverter technology inside to maximize your safety. The cutting ability of the Hero Cut is somewhat limited, at just 0.3 inches. Some users found that it was significantly weaker, but this was a relatively rare complaint. The advantage to the thin cutting ability is that the cutter only needs to be wired to a standard 110 volt outlet to achieve a 0.3 inch depth. Even then, it's able to pull up to 30 amps of current and can sustain a 60% duty cycle, which is on par with much larger plasma cutters. The Hero Cut comes with everything you need for assembly, although users recommended adding a quick disconnect fitting to make connecting to the air compressor easier. You'll also notice that, unlike many competing plasma cutters, it doesn't come with an LCD screen. But this is mostly unnecessary given that the only control available is the current dial. Number 4, Zenny DC Inverter Plasma Cutter. This Chinese-made plasma cutter from Zenny is somewhat hit or miss. It's extremely affordable for what you're getting, which is why so many metal workers are willing to stand behind it. But users consistently warn about faulty diodes and components inside. There's no warranty, so make sure you buy from a company with a strong return policy and use the plasma cutter frequently at first to make sure you don't have a faulty unit. That said, When this plasma cutter works, there's a lot to like. It can be wired to either a 110 volt or 220 volt outlet to cut metals up to 0.5 inches thick. The current is extremely simple to control thanks to a switch and knob system, and you can monitor your current on the included LCD screen. The cutter also comes with everything you need to install it in your shop, including a pressure-reducing valve for large air compressors. The plasma cutter is a little bit on the heavy side, but it's still very portable. There's a built-in handle and the machine is relatively compact, so it's simple to move around your workshop as needed. Number 5. Corel Plasma Cutter. This plasma cutter from Corel is a great choice for home users. It comes with just about everything you need to get started cutting metal, and offers a massive cutting ability up to 0.78 inches. Users found that you can get surprisingly deep cuts just by connecting this unit to a standard 110 volt outlet, although you'll reap the full potential by wiring to a 220 volt outlet. What's particularly impressive about this plasma cutter is that it has an 85% duty cycle, meaning you almost never have to stop working. On the whole, users were extremely happy with the construction of this plasma cutter. They found that it worked reliably, and it's one of the only cutters under $500 that comes with a 3-year warranty. The pressure regulator can fail after a few months of use, but this is easy and inexpensive to replace. The main downside to this plasma cutter is that it doesn't have a true pilot arc plasma tip. That means cuts are a little bit messier and wider than what you'd get with a more professional plasma cutter. But, for rough cuts, this plasma cutter has some of the most inexpensive consumables of any unit that we looked at.